I will be informing my class how to make egg salad sandwiches. So for your first ingredient, it has to be the number one ingredient that makes this sandwich complete. You want to have 2 eggs, and you want to make sure they're not touched to sell the yolk inside of them, and you want to put them in a pan, and you want to let the pan heat up on the stove for 7 to 8 minutes to make sure they get that perfect hard-boiled shell inside. And then, while you're saving time, you want to take a container. In that container, you want to have 1.5 teaspoons of sweet relish, 1.5 teaspoons of mustard, and 3 teaspoons of mayonnaise. And while you're stirring that all together, you want to add salt and pepper. That will also enhance the flavoring of the eggs while you're making the sandwich. So after you get done putting every ingredient in, and you get stirring and all that, it should look something like this. You want to make sure it actually has that yellow glazing, because if it's not, then you know you did something wrong. You had to. And then you want to take the eggs and you want to mash them up, just like so. After you get done mashing up your eggs, they should look something like this. And you want to make sure you mash them up to the perfect amount, to where you have enough egg yolk to make sure your sandwich has the complete smothering of it. And after you get done doing all that, you want to go ahead and get salt. And you want to add salt and pepper to that once again. And that just enhances the flavor even more. And after you do all that, you want to mash it up even more until it's all conjoined together. This process is key to making your egg sandwich, because if it's not mashed up enough with the pepper and salt, it's just not going to taste good, and it's going to taste dry. And you don't want your eggs to taste dry, because then nobody's going to want to eat them. And after you get done, it should look mashed up to this amount, to where you can have a perfect coating of egg and salt and pepper on your sandwich. This is perfectly mashed, by the way. You want to make sure you have that mashed. And then you want to take your sauce that you've made, and then you want to get 2 pieces of bread and pop them in the... For this process step, you want to take your 2 pieces of bread and pop them in the toaster. After a while of toasting, you want to make sure your bread is nice and glazed, so it can just have that perfect little extra flavor. And after time goes by, your toast should be done. And you want to make sure it's not burnt, so you want to make sure it has that little perfect little white glaze left on it. And you want to take your other piece of bread, and you would like to put it on the side so it doesn't get in the way of making your sandwich complete. So for the final step, you want to take your eggs, and you would like to sprinkle them on top. Might get a little bit messy, but you want to sprinkle them on top, and you want to take your shardings, or however you like to say that, of eggs, and you'd like to put them on top of your sandwich. And you want to make sure they're perfectly packed in so that your sandwich isn't messy, and then nobody's going to want to eat it if it's messy. So for the sauce, you can either stir it up, but with the main thing people do is they just put it straight on top of your egg sandwich. And this perfectly glazes it, so you don't have too much sauce on your egg sandwich. And then after that's complete, you like to put this on the side so it doesn't get in your way. And you want to take salt and pepper, and you just want to sprinkle just a little bit on top. And you add your pepper. You don't want to put too much, because then it's going to be, it's just going to contaminate what you've already made. And then you want to just take your piece of bread, and you want to perfectly place it directly on top of your sandwich. And just like this, your egg sandwich is complete.